Human rights it applies universally, and the challenges are universal. We all agreed to a charter and signed on to it, but in terms of its practice, we're still a way away. The United Nations has, played a big part and a role in helping facilitate countries achieve many of their development objectives. How do we do this bigger and better in the plans that are laid out to help them implement many of their objectives? First and foremost, in shaping the new agenda, and that member states were taking the lead to do this, and they were opening up the process to everyone. One of the first questions was that, what about the rights-based agenda? And I think, what we saw in this and the discussion we had early on was that everything that we did in shaping this agenda had to have impact with the human rights in people's lives. So I think if member states have done something that I think will be transformative in this agenda is the universality of it. The challenge for them over the next year is going to be the ambition that they will seek to have in terms of applying the rights-based agenda to all these aspects that you see in this pipeline of 17 goals. And we know that there is enough resources in the world for us to do this agenda. But we need to unlock those resources. So tax has been spoken to around the concerns of increasing domestic resource mobilization. To do that, you need tax reforms, and tax reforms need capacities, and capacities have to come out of institutions, and there needs to be resources for that. So money's to really look at how we better that, and that we put more accountability and checks and balances in place for it. On the other hand, we've also had a lot of discussion about illicit flows, and most of these illicit flows come from the avoidance of tax. And where are these tax havens? How can we put the spotlight on them? But let's not have the chicken and egg situation. Once we do deal with putting a spotlight on tax havens and trying to cut the flow of illicit resources, we still have to come back again to the country to make sure that that leaking pipeline, we've shored it up so much that it doesn't happen again. Financing for development has always related to programs and projects, and it's very little about the glue that will hold them together. And I think the strong message of the new Sustainable Development Agenda is that you've got to look at the intangibles. You can't put the bricks upon each other without the mortar. And the mortar really is about the human rights agenda. It's about justice. It's about the software, as I would say, that makes this hardware tick.